Alright there folks, Dan Fagella here, and in this quick CLV Boost tutorial, we're going to talk about the idea of a marketing automation consumption campaign. I've mentioned this in previous instructional videos that we filmed in the past. The idea of marketing automation, knowing that you can automate different campaigns and messages based on different triggers, is a very amorphous idea and can produce, in a good way or in a bad way, borderline unlimited number of ideas for how you can present different marketing messages. I often like to use particular succinct applications of marketing automation, give them names, and allow folks to treat them as tools. When we work within businesses, that's what we aim to do. If we're teaching people how to implement marketing automation in a profitable way themselves, that's what we'll do as well. So we're going to talk about the idea of a consumption campaign. And in this video, I'll first cover what a consumption campaign is, sort of lay it out with our representative tiers of emails here, email messaging here, and then we'll give a couple examples of where it might be applied in a service business and where it might be applied in an e-commerce business. So a consumption campaign is as follows. A consumption campaign is is set in place when in order to get your ideal conversion. Let's put it up here. This is our ideal conversion. In order to attain our ideal conversion, we need our prospect or our lead to engage with our educational or informative content in a sequential fashion. In other words, before we want to get somebody in for a high-ticket coaching or consulting appointment, we want them to watch particular case study videos. We want them to read sort of the description of what our services are, whatever the case may be. Or if we're looking to sell a higher ticket product, we want them to understand our value proposition, understand the story of the company, understand the value of the actual product that we're going to sell when people get up here. And we need them to consume that before we present our offer. So a consumption campaign takes people through tiers of education and does not move them to the next block of education, the next educational video or case study, whatever the case may be, until they watch the first. So someone enters the system here, they opt in, however they enter the system, they opt in, they make a purchase, and in these initial emails, we're aiming to get them to watch our first video. Let's just say that we're using the example of a service business, okay? This is a service business where we sell a lot of educational courses and books on the front end, but ultimately we want to move people to a level where they're interested in paying, let's say, $2,000 a month for business coaching of some kind, okay? So they enter because they bought a book, and we take them through a sequence of email messages. The initial tier of email messages basically is driving them towards one video. Let's say it's an 11-minute video, and in this 11-minute video, we're aiming to convey our core value proposition. So let's say as a business coach, we teach people to systematize their business. Let's say it's a business like ours, okay? It's a marketing automation, saying them to put their processes on autopilot and be able to increase their customer lifetime value by building some automation into their marketing. We might have a video that we're linking to in each of these emails that conveys that very clearly, very powerfully, and in a visual format that we know is going to be very important for people to even think that what we're doing is worth, X thousands of dollars per hour, okay? Whatever the case may be. And what we'll do is we will ensure that we continue to remind these people of this particular video. And we might not drum it into their head the same way every time. Hey, here's the video you didn't watch yesterday. Hey, you didn't watch this video the last 2 days. We're not going to say it like that, but what we're going to do is we're going to encourage them towards this particular video resource with different varied calls to action. We might refer to benefits X, Y, and Z in this particular email, A, B, and C in this particular email, but we're aiming to coax the click, okay? We're aiming to coax the click to that first educational video that's so important. As soon as that this prospect watches that first video, okay, you can get into advanced software where you can see how long they actually watch the video. You can be a little bit more simplistic and simply move them to the next level if they click. And in other words, if they click to land on the video page at all. Either way, as soon as that happens, we can move them up to our second tier. And potentially in the second tier, we get into, let's say, case studies. So in case studies, we know that in order for people to really want to pay thousands of dollars per month for our coaching and consulting services, they really need to understand the massive benefits that we've given other people. Okay, if you're in a service business, I'm a huge fan of using case studies in marketing automation because it's a powerful tool for social proof, for displaying benefits, and has myriad benefits to be used within automation. Can be recycled in hundreds of different ways. So after they click and digest our general value proposition, or are convinced of the power of what it is that we do, from there we'll move them up to another sequence. And we'll continue to, in these emails, aim to garner the click that will get them to watch our case study videos. So let's say we have a particular article, okay, that we're trying to link to. We're linking out of these emails to this article, and it provides 2 specific case studies of different businesses who've really benefited from our services of systematizing and automating their business. Okay, so we have a couple of case studies on this particular page. We talk a little bit about them in the email, and then we link to them. We talk a little bit about them in the email, we link to them. We talk a little bit about them in the email, we link to them. If they don't click that particular case study, in this case, we can decide what we want to do with them. You know, if they don't actually take this action, we can talk about that in a second. But as soon as they do, whether it's the first email, the second email, the third, let's say in this case they watch the case study right away, now we can move them up to this next series, which might be our more overt call to action series. Okay, up here we might be talking specifically about our offer. You know, hey, you know, I know that you'd seen the video about the history of our company, and you've seen some of our other successful clients. And you know, we want to talk to you one-on-one about how we might be able to help your business. You can imagine that someone who's digested this much information and who has really sort of had to go through the gauntlet of educating themselves about why you're such a darn good business, such a darn good coach or consultant, whatever the case may be, you can imagine that those folks would have a pretty good likelihood of converting once we get them up into this realm, right? So, so that's exactly what we would aim to do. They would need to consume some educational content in this tier before we expose them to our next bit of educational content. Each one of these emails is again trying to get them to the next bit of educational content. As soon as they watch it, now we can move them to our explicit offer sequence. You can have a consumption sequence that's 3 or 4 tiers high. You can have a consumption sequence that's only 1 tier high, and you can simply use a little pull-up campaign to take them to the next level. But a consumption campaign often implies multiple tiers, forcing people to digest educational videos that will give them a better idea of what you do and pre-frame them to want to buy from you. Okay, so we just use a service business example. Let's go ahead and talk very quickly about an e-commerce example. I have an acquaintance who sells a service in the music industry where he teaches people how to play music by ear. Okay, he's actually the friend of a very good friend by the name of Daryl, who makes quite a bit of money teaching other people how to play music by ear. Very impressive business, and very well automated, in fact. And instead of simply selling people on receiving his CD of the Month Club to learn how to play music, instead of doing that, okay, what he does instead is he has people go through a sequence where he teaches them the fundamentals of, let's say, playing piano. And they'll watch this initial fundamental video, and the video itself is very well done. It not only teaches piano, but goes into the story of this particular expert and how he came to learn to teach piano, how he started teaching other people online. So it really pre-frames him as an expert. It pre-frames the benefit of his online academy and of his services and how many people he helps, and it gives these people great insight on how to play piano by ear. Okay, after they watch that video, they get pulled up into another sequence where they're taught another lesson. In this particular lesson, they're learning some more advanced strategies around playing music by ear, and they get a little bit more story around this business and how they help other folks learn to play music by ear. And only after they watch 2 or 3 of these such videos are they presented directly with the offer. So this is for a membership site in the learning music niche. Okay, very interesting niche. Very. You wouldn't expect it to be as big as it is, but this fella's has a very healthy 7 or 8 figure business doing just that. But he's using this consumption campaign in order to ensure that everybody who sees this membership offer is not just getting splashed with a sales page in their face. These are people that understand his business. They understand how he helps people, who he's helped, and how he came to grow as a musician himself. So they're much more prepared. They're not turned off by being affronted with this offer. They've been groomed and prepared to value this offer and be more likely to convert and to not be turned off by a monthly membership program in the music niche. So that's an e-commerce example. So again, I use tangible examples just so you can walk through it in your own business. But as we part here, as we end this CLV Boost tutorial, think about it in your own business. Do you have a higher ticket service, a higher tier premium offering that you have in some way, shape, or form that you really should be grooming people to see? In other words, think about it like this. Do you have any offers that are maybe so expensive or so involved that if you just presented them in an overt fashion to your entire email list, they would come across as pushy? Do you have any offers like that? If you do, you might want to think about building in place some marketing automation that would permit folks to consume educational and informational resources one after another that would prime them and prep them to be ready for that offer. So if you have an offer that, again, would be a little bit of an affront to folks who are not really groomed to see that particular price point, that particular level of service, think about how you might integrate a consumption campaign into your own sequences in order to prepare them, to ready them, and to only give the right people the right opportunities to take that next higher ticket level of involvement with you in terms of your own products or services. So hopefully this has been an illustrative few examples that give you an idea of how consumption campaigns can be implemented in your own marketing automation efforts there. If you have any questions about how to apply these tactics, or you have ideas around what else you might want to learn from us here at CLV Boost, feel free to leave a comment on this video or this blog post where the video might be embedded. We're always happy to hear from the folks who are tuned in. And otherwise, look forward to hearing from us in another CLV Boost tutorial.